Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loca here. We are in my backyard plant nursery. Join me today as I give you an overview of how all of my winter sown perennials are doing. It is now July. They are looking great, so let's go. In this short but sweet video, I'll be showing you all the perennials, how they look right now, the name of the perennial, I'll put that up on the screen, and also a count of how many of each type of perennials I have. This is what I have left of plants that still need to be thinned out and put into pots. I know I heavily sowed them. Actually, this is in a pot right now. It was in a milk jug. I have not gotten to putting the rest of these seedlings into their individual pots. I will be getting to that shortly. But this is what's left. We have the English daisy, and actually I see a little blossom in there. These poor guys really need to get into their own little pots. And then these are what remain of all my false indigo or baptisia plants. If I had to guess, there's probably at least 100 plants in here, and I'd say at least 75 plants in here. Now, I know it seems like I still have a lot to do here in terms of dealing with my winter sown plants, but in previous videos, I have shown you all the pots that I started with using the winter sowing method. So given that, I've whittled it down to only these two, which isn't bad. Over here, we have a whole bunch of obedient plant or turtle head. They look great. And here are some more of the obedient plant and turtle head. And then back over here are a bunch of echinacea or coneflower. Over here we have some mallow and some more echinacea or coneflower. And these over here, there's only a few that survived. They're over here as well, but there's still plenty. And those are the primroses that bloom in the spring. We have some balloon flower. Over here is more balloon flower. And then over here, we have agastache. I'm not sure what that plant is. So that will get potted up and we'll find out next year, hopefully. This over here is echinacea. We have some more columbine over here. And then over here, we have some dianthus. Some of it's very tall, actually, like this one over here. And they are blooming or budded, which is really nice. And then we have some more echinacea over here. And the label on this one says Helenium or sneezeweed. It looks like a coreopsis or something to me. We'll find out. I'll pot it up. And then over there, we have some more echinacea. We have a bunch over in this area. Over here are two Jacob's ladder. Very excited that I was able to grow those from seed. And over here are some turtle head. Over here is scabiosa, and we have a delphinium. These over here are a bunch of dianthus. We have more dianthus over here. And then back here are some coneflowers. And then all of these here are lance leaf coreopsis. Over in this section here, these are all oxeye daisy. And then we have a couple of small little columbine plants. Here we have some beautyberry. I was given some seeds by a friend of mine a number of years ago. I think it's been 2 years at least now. And this is my second year growing them. And I actually want to show you what the year one plants look like. So these plants are not a year old. They were just winter sown this past winter. Let me show you what a 1-year-old winterberry plant looks like. To be able to say that I grew a winterberry plant or tree or shrub from seed, and this is 1 year old, I think that's pretty impressive. I wasn't sure if it would survive in our winters here, and it did last winter. So I really need to get these in the ground. I have probably about 15 of them. I need to give a few to my friend, and then I definitely want to get some in my landscape as well. But look at it next to the size of my hand. That's a large plant. I am pretty sure this is going to be a popular plant to sell over the next 1 to 2 years. This is baptisia or false indigo, and it becomes a nice big, almost like a shrub or a bush. I have a number of them in my yard, and they really are beautiful. So when you grow them from seed, you can see I've had a lot of success growing them from seed. But when you grow them from seed, it takes sometimes 3 to 4 years before they bloom. And a number of years ago, I sold them when they were just this big, and they sold like hotcakes. Of course, I sold it at a very reasonable price, so it was a popular item. But you can see that I am planning to probably sell these at different price points based on their size. So I have some that are definitely more mature and bigger, and then I have all these little seedlings. And if someone wants to buy some seedlings, they have that option. But I'm not going to sell these until next year. So I'll be putting up on the screen how many of these seedlings I have, but I have 1, 2, 3, almost 4 full double rows of the Baptisia or false indigo. I have a bunch of the bee balm. I'm very excited about that. Now these plants just barely came out of their milk jugs within the last week. So keep that in mind. They might have been bigger if I had taken them out a month ago, but that's okay. I still have the rest of the summer for these to grow on and get bigger. I'm not going to be selling any of these plants until next year anyway. Well, I just found I have another half a row of the false indigo or baptisia. I have plenty of this plant. Over here we have a bunch of the oxeye Shasta daisy. This year I'm doing things a little differently in my nursery. I'm doing double rows. What happens is it makes the walking path wider. So I'm really looking forward to having it this way for next year as well. In case you're wondering, there is an empty row right there. I've been shuffling the plants around, moving things around, and the reason I'm doing that is I'm getting ready for the nursery for next year, and I want to be in good shape well before the fall, because come fall time, the leaves fall all over this bed. So I'm making room for all the new plants that are coming out of the milk jug, and also there's a bunch of plants in here like the columbine that I winter sowed from last year. So I've sold a bunch of it, but I still have a bunch left. So I'm making sure everything's good and organized, tucked in for the winter, but I'm still going to be selling them in case anyone's interested. I just wanted to point those few things out. In this final row over here, we have lance leaf coreopsis, and I believe there might be another plant in here as well. It looks like 2 different types of plants. I mixed them all together. At least it's narrowed down to 2 plants in this row. And I think the other plant is Gaillardia. We'll find out next year when all these are blooming. So I wasn't lying when I said this video would be short and sweet. I just wanted to give you an update on my winter sown plants. Definitely this winter, if you've never done it, try winter sowing. I'll be making lots of videos showing how to winter sow perennials. I like to focus on perennials. You can definitely do annuals as well as vegetables. Also, pretty soon I'm going to be making a video going over backyard nursery and my first year doing a backyard nursery, my experience with it, my tips, things that worked, things that didn't work, how I plan on changing my backyard nursery sales for next year. So be on the lookout for that video. I hope you're doing great in your garden. Until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.